Now, guys, this round is going to be an 8 straight hour weapons making competition, but as you probably noticed, the judges are not with us. That's because we want them to come into testing not knowing which one of you made which one of the blades. As far as what weapon you're going to be building goes. The Shamshir. The Shamshir's history dates back to 13th century Persia, or modern-day Iran. Featuring a long blade with a distinctive curve, the blade was specifically designed to deliver deep, deadly cuts upon anyone who crossed its path. This deadly weapon quickly spread through the region, finding its way into the hands of Ottoman, Indian, and even Filipino warriors. Previously featured in Season 4, getting a proper heat treat on the sword proved to be challenging for the smiths, and ultimately a bend in the strength test sent one smith packing. Your time starts now.
At this point, I have 2 billets and a big old chunk of guard stock, and I'm working between all 3. I get the billets ready for the final restack. I have no time to stand still.
Ben is restacking. He's very aware of how talented Ira is, so I'm willing to bet he's going to go above and beyond with the craftsmanship and the talent that goes into this blade.
I'm really pretty good at just focusing on my job and phasing out whoever else is around me, but this is Ben Abbott. He's moving around like fire around the forge. His natural movements are getting into my head. I've decided I'm going to put more time and energy into my guard. I'm going to try to do a sandwich type technique where I come in with a right and a left and forge weld the 2 pieces together in the middle, leaving the middle hollow for the blade to slip in. If I could pull this off, maybe I have a chance to beat Ben. I beat Ben Abbott. I mean, they may come to ask me to be a judge on this show.
The tricky part about these parameters is to gauge the height of that curve. So I need to figure out something to do.
Ben's got a pretty cool setup here at his workstation. He's taken some handle material stacked to 2.5 inches, and next to it he's got a tape measure out to 30 or 32 inches. So now he can simultaneously measure the length parameter and that depth of curve parameter. Nice.
I have around 3 inches of curvature. It's time to quench.
All right, Ben is in the oil. This is a huge moment for him.
Everything looks nice and straight. I'm really happy.
Not far behind Ben, Ira's gonna go for his quench. Ira has now quenched his blade as well. It is unbelievable seeing 2 smiths working side by side for 3.5 hours on such a complicated build be exactly at the same spot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentlemen, turn off your machines, put down your tools. This round is over.
Well done, man.
No.
Well done.
Thank you.
Champions, welcome to the dynamic kill test. You guys ready?
Sure.
Let's do this. All right, champions, let's talk about this Shamshir. What I love about this Shamshir is the weight and the balance. It definitely is very easy to maneuver and cut. Now, the curvature and edge of your blade is so sharp that it cuts very deep into this ballistics dummy. Chopping into the kendo sticks left no marks, no rolls. Overall, this Shamshir, it will kill. All right, time for the next Shamshir. All right, champions, let's talk about this Shamshir. from the pommel all the way to the tip. It's got a very nice profile. It's beautiful. The handle construction. Now, somebody is an overachiever here because you've got the pommel that matches the guard, and when I hold on to it, it matches my hand almost perfectly. Now, it's a little bit heavier than the other blade, but it works to its advantage. That first slash I did, I was quite surprised how deep it cut. Overall, it will kill.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for our dynamic strength and sharpness test. So I'll be taking your blades, testing their edge, cutting these water tubes, breaking those pots in that skull. You gentlemen ready? All right. All right, gentlemen. Right off, the weapon has a good feel in its weight and balance. Very nice. The blade in the test took some rolling, but still wouldn't run my finger down this thing. I'd wind up bleeding. Biggest concern I have with this blade is having that extra inch of handle there. Kind of allows my hand to roll back. But as you can see from the cuts, they're all clean. All in all, held up well. Well done. All right, gentlemen, time for Shamshir number 2. Wow. All right. What I like about this blade is that handle setup. That's really nice. It's got a great feel to it, looks fantastic, but we've got some problems here. These are some fairly decent chips of the blade itself. But she's straight, she's sharp, cuts well.
All right, gentlemen, you guys only got 8 hours to build your Shamshirs, and you went blow for blow, spark for spark, the entire time that competition was going. But the judges did make a final decision. Gentlemen, today's Beat the Judges champion is... Ira. You did it. For the first time ever, Ben Abbott has been defeated. Very well done. Now, Ben, you're an unbelievably talented smith, but unfortunately, you did not come out on top today. And Dave's gonna tell you why.
Ben, once again, you gave us a beautifully crafted weapon. It felt great in my hand swinging it, but those chips in the blade were just, we couldn't get around them. That's what it came down to.
I agree.
Ira, very well done.
It's been a long, tough competition against Ben Abbott, you know, like the best. But I beat him.
Ben, you're human after all.
Ben's probably gonna want a grudge match now, so that'd be fun.
Brian, Deke, welcome back to the Forge. You guys have had 5 days at your home forges to work on your Austro-Hungarian Husar Sabres. We're gonna put your weapons through a series of 3 tests. There will be a strength test, a sharpness test, and up first,
This is the kill test. To find out what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I will take your weapon, deliver killing blows and slashes on this big carcass. Brian, you're up first. You ready?
Let's make some pork chops.
All right, Brian, let's talk about your saber here. While the weight feels good. It's got a very forward balance, making it more work to have to recover with that. But with every strike, it likes to dig in and cut deep. More importantly, it will kill.
Thanks.
All right, Deke, your turn. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, Deke, let's talk about your saber here. What I like about this blade is the balance that you have here. You made good use of a fuller all the way through. That allows me to get more momentum and velocity in the cuts. And you have an edge that's sharp when I'm slashing through. And it will kill. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, to test the strength and overall construction of your blades, I'll be attacking our lances here. Brian, you're up first. You ready?
Let's make some kindling.
Okay, Brian, your blade held up really well. It's a little on the heavy side for a saber like this, but not bad. The balance is pretty far forward. A real problem I have, your longets, though a really nice touch and very pretty, are kind of deadly. A blade that starts taking pieces of your hand off is an issue. All right, Deke, you're up. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Didn't snap.
Well, it's still in one piece. That's a good thing. I can see some glinting on the edge here, but it's not really rolled or anything else. It's just sort of pressed down. It's still sharp. Other than that, there's no damage to this edge at all. The handle's a little on the smooth side, but it's a great size. I love the balance on your blade. And the nice thing about a well-balanced sword, you can really deliver a lot of power and control that, as opposed to having it roll in your hand. Nicely done. It's a good-looking piece, and it's comfortable in the hand. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to give you back to Doug.
All right, Bladesmiths, this is the sharpness test, the height slice. All right, Brian, you're up first. You ready?
Let's play hide and seek.
All right, Brian, as you can see, your edge over here easily cuts through the hide. There's no hiding that fact. And, of course, it will cut.
Nice.
All right, Deke, your turn. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, the tip right here is really sharp. As you can see, it did penetrate. There are some slashes, but not very deep cuts with this edge. But it did cut a little bit.
Bladesmiths, the judges have made a final but very close decision about which of you is our next Forged in Fire champion. Our Forged in Fire champion is... Deke, congratulations. You are the new Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Please present your blade to the judges.
Feels awesome to be the champion. You know, if my dad wouldn't have thrown my video games down the stairs, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Seth, Steve, congratulations. You guys have made it to this final round of competition, and that means we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate this iconic weapon from history. Napoleon's saber. Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 4 days.
I'm back home at my home forge in Gautier, Mississippi, and I'm going to be working on Napoleon's saber. Round one, I let the pressure get to my head and I didn't meet parameters, so I'm really gonna have to make sure that I don't get flustered and make this thing beautiful and functional as well. I decided to go with 5160. It is a great spring steel. But I'm looking at the blade, and I think I have a little too much curvature. I was at the 3-inch mark, so I had to put it back in the forge and knock it down. I knocked it down a little too far. Time to go back in the forge again. It's kind of like a cat and mouse game. Just a little over an inch. Well, it's just one of those things. It's back and forth, and I'm finally got it.
I'm back at home, I'm in my comfort zone. The lack of power tools could put me at a disadvantage, so I need to plan wisely. I've got a nice bar of 5160. It's gonna make a good, strong sword. It is super hard to hammer, and I'm gonna have to just get after it and know that day one is gonna be tough, but I'm gonna have to suck it up. We're gonna be here a while. For the pommel, I'm using 1-inch solid hot rolled steel. I've got a lot of metal to move, and I'm a little bit worried that I might not get all this metal moved today. Finally, I've got this thing where I need it. We're at the correct length, the correct thickness. The day is a success. All right, feels pretty good.
It's the start of day 2. It's time to move on to the heat treatment of the blade. The idea is to get as even a heat on this as possible. And like Napoleon, I will divide and conquer. I don't feel no ticks. I don't feel no tings. I have a hardened blade. It's time to do a rough fit up of the wood part of the handle and the pommel. And this is going to taper down to the brass. That's the idea. Now, is it going to work? I go to try to bend it, and it bends just a little bit on the first go round, and I'm like, all right, this looks like it's going to work. I go to try to bend it one more time. Broke the brass. That was my biggest piece of brass that I could have used for it, so that's kind of down the drain. At this point, I don't really know what to do, but I look down at the floor, and I'm looking at the deer antlers that I have, and I notice the curvature in them. No one says that it has to be made out of brass, copper, or gold. As long as I hollow it out and it has a nice taper to it and it fits the hand, why not a deer antler? We got to fit.
Today we'll be quenching the blade. The quench is a moment that can go horribly wrong. I've got to get the entire blade one nice uniform temperature. It's not going to be very easy in the short forge that I have, so what I plan on doing is building an oven at the back side of the forge. This oven's going to keep my point warm, but not let it cool off. Should be a good help. So I've got the forge turned up as high as it'll go. I've got my little butane torch in the front. All right, here we go. We're straight. The beautiful sound of a skating file. Hard, hard, hard.
How'd the quench go?
Quench went good, I think. No bends, no warps. Got it out, file skated on it.
I'm ready to see it finished.
Give me a little while, we'll have that done, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for checking.
No problem.
Love you.
Love you too.
The closer and closer I get towards the final shape of it, I'm feeling it in my hand, kind of twirling it a little bit. Not quite as good as Doug Marcaida will be doing, but feels good in the hand. Becoming a Forge and Fire champion would be a great way to show people that I can do this, and would be one step closer for me to becoming a full-time bladesmith, because this is the dream right here. I am done. I couldn't be happier.
It's the last day. I tempered the blade yesterday in the oven, but I felt like I maybe half did the job. So I want to temper my blade with my torch to give me peace of mind. There is risk involved in a torch temper, which means that I could lose the hardness of the blade. I should see a nice blue up toward the top and a little straw moving down toward the middle of the blade. I think that Seth is going to try to design a blade that's going to be much prettier and sharper than mine, but I sacrificed a little bit of sharpness to get a little more meat behind that cutting edge. I'm in at about 3 pounds right now. It's gonna cut, but it's not gonna be a razor blade. It doesn't feel horribly heavy, it really doesn't.
Put it right there.
There's one more thing to do.
It will kill. All right, Bladesmiths, to find out what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I'm gonna deliver slashes and thrusts on this pig carcass. Seth, you're up first. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, Seth, from the snotter to the trotter, every cut with this, as you can see, offers a very deep, lacerating cut. The only issue is that your blade did pick up a little bit of a bend. But overall, sir, with the way this weapon moves and feels, it will kill.
Thank you very much.
Good job. All right, Stephen, your turn. You ready, sir?
Yes, sir. That's heavy. Too heavy.
All right, Stephen, let's talk about your saber here. It's a heavy, unbalanced sword. The minute you pick up, it wants to pull straight down. It's hard to wield. But the weight of your sword here will definitely bash in and cut, so it will kill.
Thank you.
Well, Bladesmiths, a saber is supposed to be a sturdy weapon, so let's see how yours hold up on our strength test. A ram skull chop. Now I'm gonna take each of your sabers and with no mercy at all bash them into this ram skull. It's not only gonna test the overall strength of your knife, but the heat treat on your edge. Now, I don't really care what your swords do to the skulls. I wanna see what the skulls do to your swords. Now, Seth, you're up first. You ready to go?
Swing it good.
All right, Seth, your edge held up, but we do have a bigger bend in the blade than we had before. Your guard is now mobile, and both your bolsters came off as well. So this mechanical connection right in here failed, but the connection between your blade and your handle is still sturdy. You took some damage, but you survived. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Steve, after seeing that, how you feel?
I don't know. Let's see. There you go. Bad heat treat.
Well, Steve, we obviously have a problem here. You got a very coarse grain structure in here, so I don't know if there was enough tempering done on this 5160 blade. I mean, one strike is all it took and snapped it right in half, so that's obviously a problem.
Well, Steve, there's nothing left to test. Your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure and can no longer continue in this competition, and for that reason, I have to ask you to please exit the forge.
I'm upset. I'm very disappointed that the blade broke like that. I'm not coming home as a champion, but I'm coming home a whole lot smarter. I've made some friends that I'll have forever. I would do this again, no questions asked.
Well, Seth, this is a competition where the best blade wins. Your blade survived this strength test. You are the Forged and Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. How do you feel?
Surreal right now.
Well, good job, brother. You're a champion.
I could not be more excited about this experience. This competition has been some of the most fun of my life. The money's gonna do some things for the shop, and my wife and my daughter are gonna go on a real nice trip.
Good job, Seth.
My name is Seth Voorhees, and I'm the Forged and Fire champion.
Jared, Lee, congratulations. You guys have made it into the next phase of this selection process. What you're fighting for is the Navy anvil at the Battle of the Branches final competition and a chance to win $50,000. And now we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate this military weapon from history. The U.S. Naval Officer's Sword.
Awesome.
You'll have 4 days at your home forges in which to complete all these parameters. At the end of those 4 days, you'll return and present your blades to our panel of expert judges. After they've expertly tested them, they'll push one of you forward into the Battle of the Branches competition. Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 4 days.
Today's day one, and today I'm working on forging out the basic shape of the sword and maybe get to heat treat. Navy way is slow is smooth. Start slow, and it will turn into speed and perfection later on. I got my sword shaped out, and I'm ready for heat treat. Into day one, no cracks. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm sitting well right now. Yep, that is sexy. All right.
First thing I'm gonna do today is use my rotary tool and hand grind in my fuller. For a hand fuller, can't ask for much better. Blades ready to be quenched. The one thing you always think about is don't snap. This is the moment. Don't have a warp. Snaps are fatal, warps are critical but can be fixed. Pull it out. Uh-oh. It's hard, but it's got a bow. To the jig. I have to get it in my straightening jig to see if we can get that pulled out. Let's hope it straightened it. If not, we gotta go through that whole thing again. Pick it up, look down it, bam, we got a straight blade. 10 minutes, Bladesmiths. You have 10 tiny minutes.
So as of right now, my plan is to get some sheet steel, use that for the majority of the leaf guard, and then getting some steel for the knuckle guard and braiding it, kind of give it a nautical naval theme to it. Try and make it look like some rope or line. This wire is bulking up way more than I thought it would be. I'm trying to braid this thing. It's not moving the way I want it to. I didn't want nearly as many gaps as this, so I'm starting to get a little frustrated. I still have a whole lot to do, but at the end of the day, I'm treating this as if this is a $50,000 sword, so I'm gonna put every ounce of energy I have into it. I decided I'm just gonna stick this in the vise and start twisting until it looks like rope. All right.
First things first, put the coffee down, pick the sword up. Tempered last night, and the warp that I thought I had fixed came back in the temper overnight. Right down the edge, right down that spine. I have to get this fixed before I move on with the sword. To get this warp out, I'm gonna have to pin it, heat up the spine, then let it relax, and hopefully the warp will come out. A little tap, but I can live with that. It don't rock. Finally get this warp out. Still hard. It's time to move on to the handle material. I set up the micarta handles by cutting them rough shape to fit the handle. Drill the holes like that. I think I need to get the pommel, so when I do make the guard and knuckle bow, I know where to end it. So I need the pommel next. It's pretty blade heavy, and it's gonna need a big chunk of brass to be able to balance that out. Done.
All right, sailors, your weapons looks beautiful, but it's time to find out if they're wall hangers or they're actually something you could use to kill. Jared, you're up first. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right, Jared, the balance you have here feels good in the hand. Now, your edge is very sharp. As you can see, with every cut, it cuts deep. For every thrust, all the way through and true. Overall, sir, your weapon will kill.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, Lee, it's your turn. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
That's a lot of hog to go through with a skinny blade. I'm pretty nervous.
right, Lee. The handle construction is comfortable. Your edge, not one single glint or rolling. Your tip punctures and cuts on the way out. And overall, sir, it will kill.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for the strength test, the dreaded flex test. So to test the strength of your blade, I'll be bending it in both directions up to that red point. Jared, you ready for this?
I guess.
Okay. I'm impressed. Your blade is just as straight as when we started the test. That's a really nice heat treat.
Thank you.
Holding your sword, you can shorten that handle just a little bit scale-wise, but at the same time, it winds up being fairly comfortable. Nicely done.
Thanks.
All right, Lee, you're up. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The longest 5 seconds of my life.
Nice job, Lee. That blade is still the same shape it started it. That's impressive.
Thank you, sir.
Really good. All right, gentlemen, it's time for the sharpness test. We call this the fish slice. We're gonna be lowering those fish down. I'm just gonna start cutting. I'm gonna keep cutting until I run out of fish. All right, Jared, you're up first. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. This is why I love sabers. They are just so much fun to cut with. It's just passing right through the fish beautifully. Your handle construction might be a little bit wide, but it's comfortable and it stays in my hand. I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Lee, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Lee, cuts beautifully. I mean, the edge on this is wonderful. Saber's definitely sharp and a great balance. Nicely done.
Thank you, sir. Jared and I are neck and neck. I mean, both blades performed great.
Jared, Lee, only one of you can move forward, and that Smith is. Lee, congratulations. You'll be moving forward to represent the United States Navy in the Battle of the Branches final competition. Congratulations, good job.
Thank you.
Jared, unfortunately, your blade didn't make the cut, and David Baker's gonna tell you why.
Jared, you brought us an effective cutting sword, but this came down to the basic details of aesthetics and the way that weapon felt in my hand.
I understand.
Well, Jared, come on forward, brother. Good job, man.
This competition was such a learning experience for me. Made a lot of good friends. Had a great time. Give him hell.
Good job, shipmate.
I didn't win, but I did through a very awesome sword. Lee, you did well. Give him hell and take it home from the Navy.
Lee, congratulations. You forged your way into this final competition where you'll compete against the Air Force, Army, and Marine Corps to bring home the title of Forged and Fire Champion to the United States Navy. And you'll also be competing to receive a check for $50,000. You've done a fantastic job. You're only halfway there, and we'll see you real soon. Good job.
Thank you, sir. I just won. Really? 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 Being able to represent the Navy is an honor. I am totally ready to do this all over again. And I'm gonna tell you guys to bring your A game because I'm bringing mine.